Hey guys, summer is almost here and I wanted to give you my tips and tricks on how to use bronzer and how to correctly place it on your face. The best thing when doing this is to think about where the sun hits your face naturally, so that would be your cheekbones, your temples, and your forehead. And some people will use bronzer on the lower jawline onto the neck to diminish the look of the double chin. But I'm going to keep it really simple today and just be using my favorite bronzer, or one of my favorite bronzers. It's the Smashbox bronzer in Bronze Light Sun-Kissed Matte. I just replenished this product because I completely used up the last one, which makes me feel so good because I love using up all my products. The reason why this is one of my favorite bronzers is because it's matte, and that's super important to me because as much as I love the shimmery iridescent bronzers, this is just a much easier one to use, and sometimes those ones can go on and look a little bit muddy on the face. Especially when your natural oils mix with your products, such as your bronzer, it tends to make the product look a lot darker on your face, and it looks a little bit bruised. So that can happen. The oil will kind of tend to make the bronzer separate. So if you're using a darker bronzer, it's going to be more obvious. So that's why I will stick with something that looks like this. I just put it here and you can barely even tell that I have it on my finger, but that's a good sign. You don't want your bronzers to be super dark. So here's a before. I'm going to just dab off the excess on my hand, and I'm just going to start with my cheekbones. So I'm going to start from the back, because I find that if you do too much here, a lot of the time people forget to dab it off on your hand, the excess, and that just ends up on your cheekbones. So I always naturally start from back here and brush forward. I think that your bronzer should finish about here. The further you bring it in, the more obvious it's going to be that you have a product. So if you're trying to make it more natural, the best thing to do is to stop right about here. So I would judge it with maybe the end of your eye, or basically if you're kind of bringing it in where your pupil starts. This brush is really easy to use, but depending on which one you're using, I find the easiest way to put on the bronzer is to just go around in circles, because you're blending it as well as putting on the product at the same time. And with whatever's left over, I tend to brush that onto my temples and then run it along the hairline. So hopefully you can already start to see that this is starting to slenderize my face. A lot of times people will contour with bronzer. That's absolutely okay to do, but I recommend only doing this with a matte bronzer. And you can just start to see a little bit more definition with my cheekbones. So if you don't like to contour, this is the easiest way to bring that feature out. I always like contour because I like to be sculpted up, so I will go in with a contour powder underneath this as well. So looking at it from the side, you shouldn't see any harsh lines. And with whatever's left over on your brush, you can just use that on your jawline. And if you want, if you're feeling risky enough, brush it onto your neck. And I'll do the other side to just show you the completed look as well. And then you can see the aftermath of what bronzer can do for you. So here's the finished look with using bronzer on both my cheekbones, up in my hairline, my temples, and the jaw. So it's supposed to look really natural, and the reason why I stop here, I wanted to show you because that's where blush comes in. So especially if you're using blush and bronzer, your blush placement should be on the cheekbones. So brushing it like this, it's easiest if you smile. And then you can almost go over where you finish the bronzer so it just blends in seamlessly. So let's show it before and after to show the difference that bronzer really does make. Another matte bronzer that I really enjoy using is Benefit's Hoola bronzer. I only have like a little guy of this right now. And then if I do use the iridescent, really pretty bronzers to look at, I love the Kevyn Aucoin Celestial Bronzing Veil in Tropical Nights. I just scuffed it, but this is just super pretty because you can see the gradient. Who wouldn't want to use this? All I'm saying with these kinds are that they require a little bit more practice, and always with these use a lot less, because the iridescence of this and the shininess with that, if you have an oilier skin tone, will just mix with your oils and be a little bit much by the end of the day. So I hope to help you guys out with bronzer. If you have any requests for a video that you'd like to see in the future, leave it in the comments below, and I will see you all in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye. When you're thinking about cool tones, your veins have more of a blue or purple vein. A neutral has more of the blue-green vein, and a warm tone